Double kill. Triple kill. Quadruple kill. Quintuple kill.
Dismissed. At ease. And stay down.
Double kill. Double kill. I will protect the innocent. Double kill. Clearing the area. You're not going anywhere. System repaired. Clearing the area. Get back. Justice reigns from above. Clearing the area. I copy.
Cheers, love! The cavalry's here! Yeah! Wicked!
Double kill.
Ever get that feeling, deja vu?
Double kill. Triple kill.
Who's next? Bomb's right on target! Wicked! Down for the count!
Double kill. Double kill.
Double again!
كان من اول قاعد احاول اتكلم وقاعد اهرج معاه واعطي الورود في الاخير حاط ميت لنفسي.
ها؟
طلعت حاط ميت لنفسي قلت لي تبغى هوست اعطيك.
ما ادري والله ما ادري.
اسمع ترى مسوي انا بس حاطه انلستد.
Down for the count!
سوي بس؟
اي بس حاطه
ابلش.
حاطه انلستد ما حد حيشوفه.
في احد فيه بس؟
لا بس انا قاعد اتاكد من شيء.
اوكي.
المفروض يكون انلستد.
يا اخي السيرش يطول.
عمي يطول بس يجي معي بشري ابي نيت. والله ما في.
انت بتلعب فرح صح؟
اللي انت كذا انت كذا.
اي يلعب فرح.
انت تجي في ذا الرانك تتفلكس على راسي.
شو القصة طيب شو نسوي بعد؟
شو نسوي
بس
بعد؟
ملاعب.
تقول لي للحين هي صاملة تصلح السيارة؟
ها؟
للحين صاملة
أيوه.
تصلح.
اي والله.
ودتها الورشة وكذا.
ما ادري اذا ودتها الحين عشان تسوي لها تضليل، لكن الله يعطيها العافية صراحة
ما غصرت.
ما قصرت. يا اخي اش يبغى لها اعدادات كويسة عشان ايم فيها، او اي احد يايم فيها، بس ما معك اي ايم. والله اني اسوء لاعب. اوه سكين تريسر حلو، توني لاحظ.
حبيبي انت الحلو.
Don't show up, don't come back, don't carry now, bomb me now, walk away, you know how. To the full 183 pray. اعطيتني هوس صح؟ دقيقة.
ايه
نو مش دخلت انا.
Now traveling to Kanizaka.
وش قاعد تايني روم. رحت تريزر ها؟
لا تبي تتحداني يعني ولا جو؟
شوف يا اخي كيف اللعب، والله لعبي سيء. يلا 1 2 3.
ترى موس جديد
تعال نص.
يعني انا معذور. ما في.
رايت.
هذا نازل وقام يصلي.
استغفر. لا تطلع هاي جراوند، تنزل خليك النص. هوبا هوبا. اوتش شارلي. No, I was okay.
Welcome to Hollywood.
ليش حاط الايكون هذا؟
حقيقي صح؟
Select your hero.
منو يوبي قصدك؟
لا النتيلا اللي ضدنا.
اما في نوتيلا ضد؟ لا لا هو. الو لا يكون هو دقيقة. لا لا ما طلع سيلفر هو ولا؟ سيلفر واحد هو نجم.
لا لكن لسه
بالله من جد؟
جديد. هذا تحمل
دقيقة.
أصلاً كتب اسامه.
Damage amplified.
لا لا مو هو، ما يحطه بد.
Move back.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I thought.
You know, I had a poster of you on my wall when I was younger.
Remember the poster. My hair was amazing.
انت فاتح بس؟
ايه حاطه بس.
في حد فيه ولا؟
لا بس انا ما ادري ليه قاعد حتى ما في احد الحين.
هذا والله عمر.
ما ادري ليه اصلا في الصوت بس لكن برجع اشوف لعب.
المهم قول لي من له وانا
Attackers
ها؟
قول لي من له اعطيني كل اوت.
اوكي.
Enemy seen.
اول مره العب مع الجيل.
You should be a high on power.
بالله هذاك
I got you. ديفا
نوتيلا والله مأيم.
ديفا ديفا ديفا. سولجر 1.
لا مو
لوسيون لوسيون.
والله ميرسي ميرسي هذا عليك.
Enemy contact.
باك.
Back in action. Move back.
Heroes never die.
ولا
نايس
نايس. ونبل ونبل. انا على المويرة ها. نو فيد.
يلا نقدر دمي قليل.
هربت. تاك شوي ولا هذه تذبحنا يقصونها.
إيه.
I need healing. I need healing.
قل لي نو بعدين كلب مسيح يا ولا
هذا ما يبهيني. اسمع جراف و
برا. كيف اموت
فول سبام،
كذا
أوكي.
والله مو معقولة. شو فولس بقى ولا ضرب؟
لا انا وزاري بنسوي كوب ما عليك. بدمك ماشي.
اعطاني نار.
يا اخي على زق انا مثلا الله. طول بالجراف والله مرة طول
مرة
حرفيا
شوف دوب رماه دوب
لحاله ما ادري ليش.
كربي شوية يعني.
Back in action.
كره وش.
ادخل السيجما لو وباقي دي.
بدخل مرة ثانية ها.
يلا معك
يلا
يلا انا على المويرة نو فيز.
ديفون
بحاول ديفا.
Need to fall back. I will not fail again.
اقسم بالله انا لو قدمت وهيت اكثر مما قلت فول باك كان فزنا الجيم.
Right beside us.
180
I will not
crazy coming.
Damage increase.
الو وشو ذا السولجر.
سريع ها. اشو سولجر والناس.
جايينك من ورا ترى. سيجما لو مرة. سيجما 1. كم
لا
I need healing.
My ultimate is ready. My ultimate is already set.
The payload has reached.
نسوان عندك تكفى شيلها يا سيجما زاريا. ابو اللعب السك.
لوسيون قسم دايركتات وهاي.
حتى هذا بلا عليه معك.
ميرسي ما حيهيني وحموت.
يلا رميت بوب عليه والله.
اوكي انت رميت بوب هو بيسمي انك رميت بوب.
I need assistance.
بغير روح.
Back in action.
Heroes never die.
Get back.
لوسيو محمد ده
لا 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 بالغلط مسكلك. Mercy, can you please don't leave me?
خلاص يا معتوه.
لا دبسات ولا هذا هيلرات يعني.
Score.
If you want to believe
Sides.
it. خيبة.
Prepare to attack.
وربي خيبة
Select your
تيمنا
hero.
ولعبي والله انه خيبة.
أنا ليش جوينت فويس ما أدري.
انا دخلت قلت ميرسي كان يو بليز هيل مي.
مسكين مرس تروح.
الحمد لله انه غير اصلا. ايش كتب؟ ايوه ما كتب شيء لانه حيوان. افطر على امه. شوف التريسر. ها شوف التريسر.
يلا
يلا شوف.
Oi! This is no time for standing around.
بيب. أنت اشتريت الحساب بيبي؟
Attack commences in
صرنا
30
نعرف نشتري
seconds.
حسابات ها؟
ايوه
Reinhard, I must
صراحة
say,
والله يعني مال اللي
this life must agree.
تعال شوف تعال شوف.
And you are looking as
شوف.
lovely as ever.
ولد. جاي على الطاولة وقت.
لا ما كذا
معتوه أنت؟
كذا
دقيقة. اوكي.
كذا.
5,
ايوه
4, 3,
الله يبعصك.
2, 1. Attack commencing. Capture objective.
جنك والله حقها فرح.
والله يا فرح هاي.
جنك وين؟
I will protect the innocent.
ابشر بالفرح الطيب انت بس. العن شوش لا سولجر مين كنت.
وين
والله جبنا اللوت هدية.
جنك وين؟ والله درعم بزيادة.
تعال يا اخي رجلي تعال.
الو. جنك يسار.
يا الله.
جنك وين اخيرا.
قول اخيرا كاني انا اللي مترول عليه.
اخيرا راح اطالع فيه. برمي بابا.
ارميه بدخل. مصطن جا. يعني لا رز ولا يعرف يطير معي ولا يعرف. انا ايش اسوي في حياتي؟
جنك وين تكفى صار يا شيخ.
Clearing the area.
ترى يوريني باقي نيد تو سويتش.
وش يعني سمت؟
That's my dick. لا الله يخليك.
وين؟
Cheers, love. The cavalry's here.
I've got you in my sights.
عمري
نايس هذا نام.
Just in time.
اول مرة تصير فيني.
متنا.
كيف تدخل في الجرام؟
والله القراب كان بعيد وسويت هذه دفيت زاريا وجاءت.
الجراب شفطك صح؟
حبيبي سويت
قل لي الجراب شفطك صح؟
ايش يسمونها ذي؟ والله ناس.
كوت قل.
آه. ايوه هذا.
اعطاني كذا 1 2.
Ultimate is charging.
شوف انا بعطي افويد لنفسي بس خليني اعطي النت اول.
يا ابن الكلب خلاص. نايم داخل. تكفى موت. اوه
مكري 1 مكري 1.
زاريا ليش مشخصنها؟
مكري كان ميلي بس دخلت عليه من غير ابيلتي.
والله شخصنه. نايس. خلاص. بس وين؟ يلا بليز سولجر شيلوه. زاريا يعني شكلك سولجر ورا.
هذا تك بوبل. وين
والله سولجر زقه.
ترى كويس والله انه كويس مو بلاك. انا متأكد من ذا الشيء. خلني
الجيم اللي زي كذا اعطيني فرح.
انت قل لي ابغى فرح من البداية كان اعطيتك والله.
علبة بنزين فل ما شاء الله.
هذه اللي تبيها قبل كل طلعة.
والله ابيها والله. ساتر ما شاء الله. خليني اشيك بثك. وين بثك؟ اليوتيوب.
شوف اذا مو انلستد حقفل امه.
ارسل لي الرابط. لستد لازم رابط
لا
ترسله للناس.
مو انلستد يب حقفل امه. دقيقة.
طيب ارسل لي انفايت. ارسل لي
حقفله
الرابط.
اصلا حقفله.
لا تقفله خليه عشان
شوف
بشوفه بعدين.
لعبة انا الخايس.
اي جوي.
انت تبى ترجع تشوف لعبي.
لعبي
والله
انا.
تضحك والله تضحك.
ايوه
والله لو معنا
صفر.
ذا ديفل كان فزنا بس استغفر الله.
كيف تبث من يوتيوب على البي سي؟ سهل ولا صعب؟
يا اما انا ما استعمل يوتيوب في البي سي بس استعمله اذا بتفرج شيء من غير اعلانات.
طيب كيف بثيت قبل شوي يا عمي؟
من جي فورس.
والله ذي ما عرفت صراحة كيف اسوي.
انت عندك جي فورس؟
ايش؟
عندك جي فورس؟
ايوه.
طيب انا اقول لك شوف. انت في بثي؟
ايوه بثك.
شوف انا اقول لك هنا هذا اللي يشغل البث هذا بس لازم تقفله. حلو. وذا لو قفلت ده على طول تقدر تفك بس على طول بس تحط تايتل ومدري وخلاص. خلاص ارتحت. انا ليه جيت
تدري انك قاعد تشرح والهرجة طلعت في اوفر يعني كيف اقول؟ كاميرا في اوفر وانت قاعد تشرح.
الو الزد يشيل ذا. طيب ليه ما راح؟ ايوه خلاص.
اضغط التاب اطلع سطح اكتب هنا زد.
ورب الماوس باد الجديد مريح للرجل. هذا واحد يبغى يمدح ها. اي واحد ينزل اكل في نهار رمضان راسه مربع.
واذا كان راسه مربع يو ليش صوتي كذا مرة قريب؟
ترى صوتك عندي بعيد.
ايش؟
صوتك عندي بعيد
في البث مرة عالي.
يا رجال. احد مهتم؟
I got brain. في صوت يطلع من مايكي
ايه في شيء قاعد يطلع.
زي من اول هذا يطلع.
لا لا دوب.
وليش تو؟
عشان دخلت البث يا غبي. ويجي دبل اي ثينك اي ثينك اي ثينك.
ها والله ما ادري.
امزح صدقت انت.
صوت زي الوسوسة.
ايوه.
اذا باقي يطلع قول لي.
لا خلاص.
دقيقة حبيبي. أنا ما مرتاح إلا لما تنزل لي. ودي ألعب فرح زمان ما
Welcome to
لعبت.
Castillo.
تعال.
دقيقة يلا. بس خليني ارد على اخر رسالة. يلا.
Clearing the area. Get back.
ماوس جديد ماوس جديد. ماني متعود.
Flag in action. Move back.
المشكلة ما اعطيت فرك الجنب.
حمد فيك كني واحد الله يستر عليه.
مجرم فرح.
Much better.
ما سويت سوبر جمب.
ما سويت سوبر جام. فهمتك.
Back online.
حركاتي بدت في الفشل.
Clearing the area.
والله قريتك زي الكتاب لما كنت بعيد.
عشان طيراني كان سهل.
يا اخي ليه مو قاعد لما اضغط ميلي شوف ما يرضى شوف.
دخل ملي.
ما ادري انا احب اضغط ميلي.
أنا من زمان قاعد أطير بس أنت. أنا دايركت واحد أموت.
والله بدي تسوي مكان. ترى قاعد اخليك تطقني عشان
My
البث.
team needs me.
ما اهتم.
اعطيك وجه. تراني معطيك وجه شوية عاد.
كفو. دائما يطقني انت.
كم دارك قل لي.
ليش ما تخليني اهيل طيب؟
تبغى الصراحة؟
اعطيتك.
Back into the fray. Clearing the area.
حركاتك بايخة.
Health restored.
ثانك يو.
طيب يعني ما ادري ايش تبغى اسوي.
Back in action.
ماشي. بس من عيني.
Get back. Clearing the area. Get back. Justice Rainbow.
شوف يقتل نفسه خوفا مني.
الله يهديك.
Clearing the area.
لا واقف في النص يا عمي يفتح الكهرب.
Personality synchronization 100%.
انت ليش غيرت لأسوأ شخصية في العالم؟
Finishing them off.
خلاص بغير والله بغير احس اني كريم.
يا مقرف. خلك يكلمك.
يعني مسوي ساطي يعني بتطقني.
لا تبي تلعب بك وخلك.
حداني والله.
ما بحرم. ايش علقت الكلمة في فمك لسه ما طلعت؟
طيب
Personality synchronization.
انا الكلام عندي في الملعب.
I need a health
كنسل والله ما في الملعب.
focus my
يا
target.
مقرف. يا حشرة.
Moving up. Restoring health.
والله ما اعرف العب ايكو دقيقة. ايش اللي يطير؟ سوي مشكلة.
ايش اللي يطير؟
سوي يعطيني دايركتين لا يخليني اروح للمين.
ايوه ايش المان؟
بعدين شوف.
مكري.
I will
Ahoy.
protect the innocent.
ولا المان. المان بيعطيني دايركت.
اعطيتك وجه احس وايد عليك المين.
لا لا خلك بالمان.
وايد عليك المين يعني.
حلو حلو حلو.
خلينا نروح ونترك كذا.
Justice ain't gonna dispense itself.
ما حميت الموت. كل ده عشان يقتلني. ليه كالفن؟
ايوه انت اقوى واحد في العالم ما اقدر اقتلك الا بكيو.
Now arriving at
يلا ما بك.
جوي
prepare for battle.
كريزي ليدي.
Select your hero.
متنا. في بعطيها فويد من
لا
ابيض احد.
I will protect the innocent.
It's an honor fighting by your side, ma'am.
You always were a charmer.
طبعا لا تحسبني في الجيم معك.
Greetings.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
ناس
Thanks for the
Round one.
assist.
Capture the objective.
Clearing the area. Cinder.
عنده ميكو يا
Be at peak performance level.
حاول اقربش. 1-1.
Vital signs met.
ميرسي. ون اعطيته
يب
ذلك.
يب والله اني شايفه.
نايس.
Objective is now active.
ميسي عندكم وات؟
كان مضيع.
Damage boost.
بس دخل
High
بس.
Power.
دور دام.
نايس ليتس جو. نايس ريفايف. ميسي بيموت حقنا.
Good one, Pharaoh.
الله واحد يعزز لي في البيت كمان.
اخو عمر انا عزيزك.
امري. اول مرة تعزز
صعب. بس هذا ليش غير تركه؟
بالعكس كويس.
يعني بالسؤال بعرف ليش.
حس انه ايكو ما تنفع لكنه غبي.
Damage increase.
I will not waste this opportunity.
Can you nano me next time?
Sure.
Wait. I'll follow. Nano.
Reinhardt needs help.
Get him to a zero.
No. Okay. Mine one.
Worth it!
ضدك بري يا عمر.
ونعم والله.
اسمع
امبري.
كم باك.
والله ميرسينا لعب بوكاي.
نزل فردك.
تتوقع مين اللي ضدنا عربي؟ انا اتوقع المثلي.
Get back.
اش.
امبري.
لاين 1.
والله ما له داعي. لول
Rest him up,
امبري.
Hog. Never mind.
Move back.
خلاص.
على حظك والله امك داعيت لي. انا امي داعية علي شكلها.
استغفر الله.
Damage increase.
Get back.
Come on, guys.
مس 1 تكفى.
دفيته على الهيلث باك. يا غبائي.
مس 1. انا 1.
اتوقع اني طيحته الاول ما طاح. انا اتهم مربي امه داعيت له والله.
Clearing the area.
Got McCree, got McCree. Good job,
نانو
Anna.
فرا نانو فرا نانو فرا.
Next round.
اوكي نايس.
1. Nano boosted.
ورب الموس الجديد مرة عاجبني.
1-0.
والله كفو.
الحمد لله اني ما اشتريت جلوريوس.
يب. مطر.
يا ساتر.
Be sure to stretch.
انا صدعت.
In rigorous physical
انت شاري سكن ورسلك ولا حتى هانسو
إيه.
مع فلوس؟
strong as the mountain.
5, 4, 3, 2.
اوكي ليتس جو.
Capture.
Thanks for the assist.
يا رب ما نزوده. انت مودي والله.
طالع فوق.
ما اعرف هو وده ولا عشان ما. رب انت مودي.
Clearing the area.
Mercy comes when I play aggressive.
شفت راش؟
Can you rest?
Get back.
داون.
شلت الان ولا بنسبوني يا ولد.
ودون.
Clearing the area. I will not waste this opportunity.
بروح اشتري ودو.
Keep me alive.
I require.
وين الاش؟ كيف شفته؟
انتبه تحت وراك.
يبن. يا بابل.
Clearing the area.
You did your best, it's okay, I got ult for next fight.
You should be.
Okay.
I will not waste this opportunity.
Because of that, so thank you. Also, get your ult, man. I need you. Rest that Rhine, I'm gonna bubble you. Ah, sorry.
McGregor left.
We need the Reinhardt.
Clearing the area.
وريهم قوتك.
اوكي انا ابن عربي.
Okay, also we got combo.
كيف شايفني؟
Reinhardt, fall back a little bit, man. I'm there.
I require
Okay.
healing.
كيف فوق؟
Let's go main, Ryan.
Can you
Ryan,
nano
I need
Farah?
you
Can you nano
with
Farah?
me.
Opportunity.
Here. Main.
Go, 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 go!
Okay, we kind of used a lot, but it's fine.
Group up with
Come here,
me.
Ryan.
I've got you.
اش فوق ها؟
There's Zarya's ult as well, so watch out for that.
لاين 1.
Stay down.
ليش
Fall back. Fall
في
back.
عندك ميدي؟
Fall back, Ryan. God damn it.
في عندك ميدي.
Ryan.
هو مو الفي، هو نفس هذا، لكن انا حاطه 2.
في خلها
I fucking saved you there.
شو اسمه حق المايك.
ايوه ما فرق. وعي شوي.
يا الله.
Get back.
عمري هذه مشكلة.
ليش عطاك نانو؟
والله ديوتروس.
ليش اعطاك نانو؟ معنا
والله
فايت ثاني.
هو فيها فكرة. انا حتى كنت اقول له ابغى نانو. هي فيها فكرة بس انه الترست ما في.
Okay, Ryan, charge in. This is the last time I'm gonna tell you this.
عشوان.
Get
Ama
him,
healer
get him!
bas.
Rest me the hog.
I already raised Lucio.
Oh, okay.
Online.
Oh my god, stay alive.
رين لو.
Keep the Reinhardt alive.
ميرسي.
انا لاش ورا. وين لاش؟
If Reinhardt dies, we're over.
انا لاش.
وين نايس. الميسي، تشوف الميسي؟
يلا جو.
باي يطير بس.
Now ball.
Clearing the area.
Oh my god.
Good job.
نايس.
جيم حلو والله.
والله انا قاعد فرق.
Play of
اي ادري انت ما همك. انا ضيعت هنا.
Justice reigns from above.
triple kill.
لعبت فيه، سويت فيه 1 2.
انا بدخل حساب دايم.
يلا يا
احنا
سيدي
اثنين.
والزعل ماكن.
What's up with y'all? What's good with y'all little niggas?
قفل جوالي. اريغاتو. اريغاتو.
Now traveling to Petra.
تونا بوي. انسو. لا. اريغاتو. حيل. عمر. الو. المهم الو. كمل انت، انا طالع ها. انشغلت والله. تسمعني؟ يلا يلا.
حلو هذا وين فجأة.
الو عمر،
اه
تسمعني؟
ايوه ايوه.
انا انشغلت والله ها. طالع اجيب اغراض لاهلي عشان فطور مدري ايش.
اه انتبه على نفسك.
يلا.
آه.
Brings us to the back. We walk through a series of fucking naked bodies of hookers and insanity. Get to the back, and there at the back of the room, I see the single most disgusting thing ever going on.
Dylan, Ruby.
Her name's Ginger, bro.
Ginger.
We got a new dog. She's right there. Andre, can you just pan down to the lion? She's so fluffy. We named her Ginger. It's final. Ginger the Giant on Instagram. I don't know how we secured that handle. Anyways, welcome back to Impulsive, the #1 podcast in the world. Thank you guys for listening, watching, viewing, subscribing. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button for me. Oh, is she back here?
Whoa, there she is. Yo, Mike, you're famous now? What happened last night?
Oh, something did happen. Your dick's a little bigger today.
I appeared on an episode of TMZ last night.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you.
What'd they ask you?
No big deal. They asked me, you know,
Like the camera's flashing in your face and
I
stuff?
walk out of catch, had a nice meal with 2 lovely ladies. I walk out, and there's one camera guy walks up first, then the lights go on, and I hear, "Welcome back to the #1 podcast," and then I'm like,
Amazing.
"Wow,
They knew.
bro,
They knew.
That's
awesome.
And they started asking me
Incredible.
really weird questions. Do they do that to you?
TMZ tries to get like clips on like what celebrities think of certain subjects.
They are asking me about road rage,
Yeah.
Donald Trump, or some other things. Jake Paul's house party with designer.
Did you do the classic, like, I don't want you to be asking me questions?
No,
You just went with it?
What happened was the girls hadn't come out with me, and so I was talking, and the whole time I was like, "Yo, I hope the girls walk out and like kind of come up to my side while I'm fucking talking to them."
They
And like
didn't do that?
3/4 of the way through, they did it. They come out, and it was all going so swimmingly, and then I realized I ordered a Kia as my Uber. And so I got in the backseat of a fucking Kia, bro. And they were like, "Yeah, see you later, you fucking loser."
Gotta love
Did you get
that.
nervous?
I was a
When
little.
I hear the camera clicks in the
Yeah.
flash, sometimes I'm like, oh
That
no.
guy, the clicking guy wasn't there. It was just 2 videos,
Oh, okay,
and so
okay.
that made it a little better. But luckily I hadn't drank a lot of dinner, so I was pretty chill.
You didn't drink a lot of dinner?
Yeah,
That's-
because I've been
that's
doing
right.
liquid.
You've been
dinners.
chewing your food and putting it in the cup?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I went out last night too. I had dinner with my mother, my sweet mother,
Oh,
and my brother,
nice.
my brother Jake.
Beautiful.
I love that.
And then we were going to a party, which is where I met up with you.
Yeah.
And my mom, like, kind of casually, a little shy. She's like, "Logan, do you mind if I come to the party with you?" And I'm like, "No, I don't mind at all. You're my sweet mother, and I love you."
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Well, I don't want to ruin the vibe." And in my head, I'm like, "Bitch, you are the vibe. Bitch, you are the vibe, bro."
Nothing can
Welcome to
stop that.
LA, where no dudes are bringing their moms to parties, but when
That's
you
rare.
do, it's awesome, bro. Everyone in LA loves a mother because
That's
all
true.
our mothers are back in Kansas or Ohio or Michigan.
Yeah, everybody comes out here to whore out.
Yeah.
It's like you got to have the mother around to remind you that you're not truly a whore.
Mom, you got me laid. You got me laid.
She actually did.
Really?
You really did, Mom.
You know what I'm gonna say by who too? Can you believe?
Pam, are you proud of that, or are you kind of concerned?
Why?
she's concerned.
You're my wingman. Yo, I'm like, "Hi, nice to meet you. By the way, here's my sweet dear mother." And they're like, "Oh my God, where you from?"
By the way, isn't it
Oh my God.
isn't it funny when you were younger? Bringing your mom around would actually stop you from getting laid.
Yes.
Now in LA, if you bring your mom out with you, girls are like, "Oh my God, you're so
Yes.
cute."
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
these other fuckboys. When in reality,
It's it's the ticket. It's
King
the
of the
key.
fuckboys,
Yeah,
right,
take notes. Took the dog to the vet. Took Ginger to the vet today. They try to do the classic. Let me stick my fingers up your dog's butt, yo. I
Yeah.
won't let this happen ever.
Classic.
Ever.
you wouldn't let him do a rectal exam.
Nah.
No, he didn't. He had PTSD.
I was fighting with the vet.
Post traumatic.
He's like, "I could just stick my fingers up the
Sticking your finger in my ass disorder. Is that?
Well, he had his a noose penetrated at a younger age.
Yeah, it was, bro. The dog stuck his fingers up my butt.
Wait, a
With that-
dog stuck his
No,
fingers
a
up your
doc,
butt?
a doc, bro.
Oh, I was like, what kind of
I-
bestiality ass shit? What's good?
Nah, I was I think you guys have heard this story before. I hit my head on a trampoline, 7mm skull fracture, and I went to the doctor, got life flighted, and
You got to check the ass.
well, like apparently
It
but
makes
also,
sense.
Like let's not tell the 12-year-old who's by the way in a fucking neck brace, laying face down, that I'm
Helpless.
gonna go.
Totally helpless.
Did he?
That's not even an. I swear, that's what he
Wait,
did.
Pam,
and I'm
what-
just like, ah!
Is that a standard operating procedure when someone has a head injury to have a finger up the ass? Is that a normal?
In the ER, yes, they have to check all orifices.
All
They have to check
orifices?
all orifices.
They have an orifice checklist.
Funny, because he's never mentioned them sticking their fingers in his ear, his nose,
Yeah,
looking
Ma.
at it in his mouth. It was this doctor was just obsessed with his butthole. What's good?
I really hate to see it.
I really would wish he would have given me a wet willy, but no, it's just
No.
just a wet
Sphincter.
ass. Yeah.
Assy.
Hey, what a weird transition to bring in the greatest
Maybe
guest of
not.
all time.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe
though.
not.
I can't believe what's happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. We fucking got him.
Secured the bag.
He's
Who
a-
got this guest, by the way?
Colin, was this you? Did you secure the bag on this one? Hey,
Shit,
shout out
dude.
Colin.
Thank you, bro.
We love you, Colin. Guys, we got a legendary guest on the show today. He was at one time Wall Street's most successful executive. He made hundreds of millions of dollars. His actions, though, led him to jail. Then a life of redemption. Hey, Leonardo DiCaprio played him in the movie. It's the real Wolf of Wall Street. It's Jordan Belfort.
Oh, I got the chest bump. All right.
What's up?
All right, how are you, buddy? All right.
Yo, good to see you.
So I'm looking about his fingers up the butt here, huh? There's nothing wrong with that when you're a little older, I mean, you know?
No, I know.
I look forward to it, but anyway.
You can't tell me you haven't had fingers up your butt.
Well, you know, many fingers. You know? So,
Or
you know,
finger-
I mean, I didn't know about the whole orifice thing. I mean, maybe check to the emergency room later if say I have a trauma, you know? I'm a little horny today, you know?
It's like, yo, doc, I think I'm hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Please.
What's the injury?
Sir, you're fine.
You learn a new thing every
look
day. That's why
fine.
it's good to have moms around, you know? But anyway.
Nah, my mom's cool, yo.
Yeah.
Hey, good to see you.
You too, pal.
How you doing? You got 10 people with you.
I know. I got a whole crew. It's
Who
amazing.
are all these
I
people?
got my son here, who was my partner in my business. Who's awesome.
Oh, your son?
Which one's that? Oh, that's good.
Yeah. We don't have to turn a computer on, you know. You guys are like, I grew up after the computer age, right? So he runs all my social media. Got some film crew here. I got.
Yeah, but you have two videographers. One of them's on a three, and one of them's on a steady cam.
Yeah, one just showed up out of the blue. So
This is incredible.
I have a feeling some of me here is because of you, buddy. So you know they want to check out the whole Logan Paul experience.
I'm a pussy, bro.
Right.
It's like,
Bam, he's doing it again with the self-deprecation.
Yeah.
hey, so you're a legend, dude.
Oh, thank
The
you.
real Wolf of Wall Street.
That I am.
You did a lot of drugs, huh?
You know, massive quantities. I mean, like on a daily basis. I was a very responsible addict, though. I mean, like, I was like a human petri dish. I'd mix them like perfectly. The thing was, I didn't drink a lot of alcohol, so you can sort of like balance everything out. You know, it started off with like one drug, right?
Yeah.
Like doing it once on a Thursday night, so I could have 3 days to recover, take Friday off, right? Then I started doing it on Saturday night, then Sunday morning maybe, and sleep it off for Monday, right? But then I started getting tired from the loot to make you it's a downer.
Yeah.
So I felt responsible for some coke to wake up, right?
Wait, what'd you say? The ludes?
The loots make you
For,
sleep.
for the kids, why don't you tell
Yeah.
these kids what the ludes are?
Quaaludes.
So Quaaludes are basically it's a barbiturate, sleeping pill, right? And what happened was when they were first invented, psychiatrists gave them to like housewives because it made you sleep and didn't give you a big hangover, right? Well, it didn't take long for people to figure out if you fought off the first 20 minutes of sleep, you got the most kick-ass fucking high in the world, right?
Wait, you're like quoting the movie, and I'm hearing the real Jordan
There you go.
Belfort say this.
But it became the most abused drug ever. So I think for every legitimate prescription written, it was probably 100,000 that were just bogus, right?
Now, this is in the 80s,
This
right?
is in the 70s.
So late 70s?
Late 70s
Okay.
days. And
Yeah.
we had these guys called lewd doctors. So you go to the doctors, they would supposedly weight loss doctors. So they give you speed black beauties to lose weight. And they say, oh, I can't sleep with that. They give you the lose to fall asleep. That was the scam, right? So you had all these kids lining up around the block. They get a prescription, you go crack it at the pharmacy, and there you go. You know?
You're not the only person on this set who has experimented with substances, but I want you to take a guess as to who the other person is that had a little bit of a run themselves. Like, look around you. Who looks suspicious here?
Dude, I assume all of you have. I mean, you know.
Even the vegan? Fair enough. Even he's
Look
vegan.
at his skin. It's glowing. He's radiating positivity.
Which is, I would say
It's him, dude.
Well, you weren't supposed to tell
Well,
me.
it's not. It's over, bro. The segment's taking too long.
All right,
all right?
fine.
I was gonna say you because it was kind of a setup. But what was your drug of choice?
Everything, dude. Opiates, OxyContin. So, like, OxyContin for our generation
done
was
that,
like
yeah.
your ludes.
Yeah,
This,
yeah.
overpowered the streets. But
Wait,
you
so-
said in the movie, Leo said, "I will not die sober." Are you gonna die sober?
Good question. I don't think much about dying just yet, you know? But hopefully I won't, though, you know? I mean, I want to die very nice in my sleep maybe many years from now, but hopefully I won't be stone cold sober, yeah?
Would you become a robot if that meant you could live for like 200,
No,
400
no
years?
fucking way.
No, you wouldn't?
Oh, God, no. I mean, like, honestly.
You ready to get out?
Not yet, but I mean, like, I wouldn't want to live forever.
What if I told you right now that if you switched your diet up a little bit, stopped eating meat, never drank again for the rest of your life, and really started drinking perfectly pH balanced water, you could add roughly 2 to 4 years onto the end of your life. Would you do it?
No fucking way. A, because I think it's bullshit. I think there's so many things involved in you know, I think a lot is genetics. Who lives the longest? My family, my parents are both alive. They're in their late 80s. My grandparents lived into their 90s. So I think it's a lot, mostly genetics. But listen, there's things you can do. You can live a certain way and have a shit life. I live and I enjoy every day. You know what I'm saying? I don't worry about everything in the corner I turn around, what I put in my mouth. I don't abuse myself anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not like,
Are you sober now?
pretty well, I'll drink a little bit here and there, but I'm not drugs were my thing. I never really drank that much alcohol, so I'm pretty safe with a glass of scotch once in a while, right? But no lewds, no coke, and I was doing like mountains of coke, ski jumps off the fucking coke.
That's great. Off strippers' asses.
Oh, just at the least, you know what I'm saying? Of everyone's ass, huh? I was doing it all the time.
Doctor's asses.
You got an ass.
Non-stop.
cocaine.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But, listen, when you're young, listen, the things that make sense when you're 25, 26, they don't make as much sense when you're 55 and 56, right?
Real, yeah.
So, I wouldn't take all that stuff back for your drugs. I had a great time. I overdid it. And, I look at drugs, seriously, it's like a privilege. Some people could do it, and they can live a normal life. Once you cross over a certain point, it'll fuck you up, and you're done. You just can't do them anymore, right? But I have friends that still do, and they only live normal lives. So I don't sneer down on people.
But what's the point? What's the point that when you cross, it's unhealthy?
Yeah, we used to have a saying. It's Stratton. You go out with the boys, you got to wake up with the men.
Oh shit.
So when you can no longer do that, that's when you've crossed over. Or like when you're out, your daughter's birthday party, and you're upstairs just with a crack pipe instead of downstairs. Then you kind of crossed over as well. It's a couple of leading indicators.
You're supposed to be down
or
there
like when you're in a
singing.
strip club, like marrying the stripper, call my mother, hey mom, I'm marrying Blaze the stripper.
You crossed over.
Maybe. But listen, there's a lot of points where you think, listen, I did all this the scene with the Quaaludes where I crashed all those cars, right?
Yep.
Didn't remember. True story.
That happened.
True story, 100% true. 100% true,
And
right?
did you think the car was?
To this day, give me a fucking lie detector test. I could pass a lie detector test right now. I don't remember hitting one car.
I'm sure.
Like when I stole I was like, what the fuck? Who stole my fucking car, huh? And then the magic, the magic of Quaaludes, though, is that it's not like alcohol. So they arrest me, right? I'm sleeping half the time. I'm half asleep. I'm in a jail cell, like Mayberry RFD. It's like a local jail cell. You're probably too young for that, maybe. Your mom knows what I'm talking about here, right? It's like this old TV show with a little county jail, right?
Yeah.
There's me and two cops,
With
right?
the big key that goes in the lock
Basically,
and
right?
shit.
So I'm on the floor sleeping, drooling on the concrete, basically, right? And it's like 11 o'clock at night, right? All of a sudden, I'm sober. Like when lewds wear off, it's not like you have a hangover.
Yeah.
Right,
So I'm like, what's up? Where am I? They're like, oh, I see what you took more off. So I ended up in this jail, and then I actually got out of that hole. I didn't get in trouble for that, believe it or not.
You know what's like that nowadays? Xanax. You wake up the next day with absolutely no recollection
how did you
of
not
what
get in
has
trouble?
happened the night before.
How did you get out of
I'll
that?
tell you how I got out of it. So what happened is so the new movie's accurate. It's exactly what happened. We had these real lewds, right? They had a delayed fuse because they were really old. So I took one, didn't hit me, so I took another one. So they finally all hit me when I was out on a call because my phones were tapped, right, at the time, right? And all of a sudden, boom, I fall over. I can barely walk, so I'm crawling back. The whole thing happened just like that, right? I drive home. I don't think I have an accident. I get in my house, right? I'm at the table with my wife, right? My little daughter's like 2 back then, so I'm drooling, she's drooling. I'm both drooling, so everything's cool, right? And all of a sudden, I had bodyguards there full time. Next thing they have one under each, and they lift me up, they take me upstairs to my bedroom. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? It's like a lewd high gone bed, basically, right? So they put me, they just, calm down. They put me under the covers, put things, shut the light off, done. So now I'm under the covers, I'm stoned out of my mind. So fuck it, I'll just drift off to sleep. A couple minutes later, the lights come on. I sense 2 policemen in my room. I'm like, what the fuck are you? They're like, Mr. Belfort, were you driving your car? I'm like, oh shit. Something said clam up. I'm like, oh, no. Next thing I'm under arrest, right? Then I see the car. I'm like, what? I was so blown away I fainted because I didn't remember having an accident, right? Crazy. So when I was in the jail cell, this little tiny jail, right? The guys are, fucking around me saying, oh, you're going to go to Central Lockup tonight. It's like too late because you're going to go to the place called the Tombs in Long Island. Really bad place to be, right? Because I thought I'd get bailed out right there. It was like 11 o'clock. No courts are open, right? Yeah. Then they go, you got to take a urine test. I said, I'm not fucking taking a urine test. I'm going to call my 25 drugs in my system, right? Everything but basically LSD, right? So I call my lawyer and they want me to take a urine test. He goes, take it. I'm like, really? Let's just take it. Don't worry about it. All right. So I take the urine test. They start like, oh, look what, everything but fucking acid, right? The cop's like, you're going, blah, 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 right? About 40 minutes later, some old man comes in the jail, right? Like in pajamas. He goes, oh, is Jordan Belfort here? I'm like, yeah. He goes, you're bailed. I'm Judge Stevens. He got some corrupt judge out of bed to bail me out. Yeah. Got out of jail, right? So then my lawyer's waiting for me outside. My lawyer's waiting for me outside, right? I said, Joe, I'm in deep shit. I said, I tested positive for everything. He's like, no, you're fine. Listen, it's not illegal to have drugs in your system. How can they prove you didn't take them after you got home? They didn't catch you in the car. Because they didn't catch me in the car, it didn't matter what was in my system.
That's right.
I theoretically could have went home, took them all then.
Wow.
So they had no evidence, so it was all thrown out.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, I had to pay some. I hit 7 cars. I had to pay some money. I mean, but
How did you find bomb lawyers? Like, how did you
they
get?
find you, pal. Don't worry about it.
Really? Okay, all right, that's good.
Hopefully they don't call you like they called me.
Just hit me
They
up.
seek you out.
Hit me up. I got some stuff going on.
Spencer does bad things, yo. He does bad things.
Define bed.
Like he overeats plants.
He's a fucking
He's cleaning out the whole
I eat
vegetative
a lot of plants.
supply.
Yeah.
Sometimes he stays out too late.
About the
A little past 10.
Not global warming anymore. So now climate change.
Climate change.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
He's responsible for it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Taking
So
out all
many
the plants.
plants.
What was
You
your
and
favorite?
AOC, eh?
What was your favorite part of the movie?
Favorite? Wow. I think probably for me, the scenes in the boardroom, like with the speeches, that was brought back the insanity of it all. The whole thing was so great. I mean, it was wild. So those were the best scenes. Some of the scenes also at home, the fighting with my wife was pretty classic too. But I have to say the boardroom scenes were best.
Gotcha. Dude, that movie is fucking. We quote it every day. We quote it literally
It's
every
a good
day.
movie.
It is probably the most quotable movie of all time. Like, imagine that.
Was there any?
It's like that and then Step Brothers.
I'm sure there were. I'm sure there were moments that I like your laugh.
It's amazing.
No, like that and Step Brothers.
They're neck and neck, dude.
I gotta watch Step Brothers again.
Incredible.
It's amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's
Incredible.
amazing.
Really?
That's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
Now, wait, that's what's his name?
Will Ferrell and Riley.
John
C. Riley.
Yeah. What are some moments that happened that didn't make it to the movie that should? I mean,
Boy,
there's probably a lot.
It's a great question.
Well, I can't tell the story.
Oh shit! His son's telling him to tell the story. You got a story?
Well,
He's got the worst story
ever. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. You're on the #1 podcast.
I don't know if you guys
in the
are.
world.
How old are you guys now?
I'm fucking.
You gotta be over 30. I think.
I am 34.
We got one.
34.
So I'll tell you the sort of abridged. You tell me how raunchy you want this to
I
go.
want it.
we want it.
Full fucking.
Let me give you a quick
FTC violations here. I think.
Let me give you a quick preface, Jordan.
Yeah.
That mic was once down Riley Reid's throat. We had a porn star talking about blowing her Uber driver.
Right, but
we have talked about prepping for
This is
anal
way
on
worse.
this
This
show.
is-
Jordan.
Riley
You're
Reid-
quoting one
We had,
episode.
we had porn stars at this event, by the way, and they froze in horror. Just so you know,
Wow.
the porn stars. They said I had a girl
Hey, buckle
hook
up,
her
yo.
a blue chip hooker for 8 years. Right, we used to classify hookers like stocks. So the best ones were blue chips. Right, then we had the Nasdaqs and the pink. The blue chip goes, I'm doing this for 10 years. I've never seen anything as disgusting as that.
All right, I'm
All right,
ready.
go ahead. Roll it out.
I'm ready
Roll
for
it
this
out.
shit.
So, story goes, right? So, getting married, big deal, right? Rent a private jet, fly 100 strat nights out there, right? And actually, some came Taylor. We took a bunch of hookers with us, right? Like probably 40, 50 from New York. But then we got others from around California, from Vegas, right? We had New York police officers, right? So it was like 100 strat nights, 100 hookers, right? Another 50, 100 got recruited in Vegas. And we had them all shapes and sizes, from the bluest of the blue chips to the most disgusting pink sheet streetwalkers, like
OTC, the OTC girls.
face of a sheepdog, shoulders of an NFL linebacker, right? Just the most rancid shit you've seen, right? But we're equal opportunity employers, right? We don't want to be prejudiced, right? I'm a nice guy, right? Anyway, so now the bachelor was at the Mirage Hotel back then, which was all the rage. That was it. The Mirage was the greatest place ever, right? So we had the whole back part of this one floor of the Mirage, right? So my friend and I, I'm going to leave his name out because I'll just said that I'll give him that much respect here, right? So he was a huge gambler and a really major league CEO of a huge company in the garment center. This guy, right? Total wild man, right? But he was like out of his mind. I mean, this guy was doing so much coke, but he was like almost like David Copperfield doing coke. Like he'd carry around like a little billet of coke, right? And with a collar stay, right? And he could do it. He'd be 5 DEA agents around. He'd be like this. He's like, did he fucking just?
He's like a magician. A magician.
He's like a fucking magic.
Wow.
What did he just do? It was like sleight of hand. That's how good this guy was, right?
Damn.
He totally like corrupted me. I'm very easily corruptible, by the way. Right? I'd say
I couldn't tell.
I'm like the parents. No, people my parents warned me about, right? But anyway, so. He was just a complete fucking wild man, right? So we're downstairs. He was a massive gambler. We're playing blackjacks. He's playing 5 hands at once. I'm playing 2 hands, $10,000 a hand. So he's up like $2 million, up like $750,000. We're fucking high as kites. I'm like probably on 15 ludes at this point for the day. At least 7-8 grams of blow, and just going on. It's like, nah, this is complete insanity. Xanax, Klonopin, because it sounds good, morphine. I had everything in my system once, but it was all perfectly balanced. So I was like, you saw me like, wow, the guy seems like he's sober.
How
It's
is
a
that
perfect
possible?
He had the setup
I was
perfect.
balanced, right? Anyway, so finally, it's like.
Did you just say that? Like, where is the balance?
I referred to as a perfect state of toxic poise, right?
Quickly, what he means is it wasn't in either direction too much.
Yeah.
He was balanced,
far down,
Got it,
like
not too much
stimulants,
anxiety, but I'm not a
exactly.
rubber band. Like
Got it.
That was perfectly balanced, right?
Exactly.
At
some point, you get
I'm gonna
so
stay a
fucked.
rookie.
At some point, you get so
Go
fucked
with
up
some
that
plants, right? Anyway, magic mushrooms, right? So anyway, here's what we got. So we're downstairs, right? We're gambling like man. I'm up like 700 grand. He's up 2 million, right? And after a couple hours, like, let's go upstairs to the bachelor party, right? So I cash out like $1.2 million in a bag, right? I had my $500,000 plus the 701, right? He leaves his chips there on the table. The guy, and he just leaves it there because that's what it's like when you're a huge gambler. So we go upstairs, and as we get to the floor, I think it was 23rd floor maybe, and we turn the corner. It's like the fucking Matrix. It was like the dark energy emanating. Almost like the room was pulsating. The whole really weird energy, right? 2 cops guarding the bachelor doors. We walk towards the doors. The cops say, "Mr. B, you do not want to go in there. You really do." I said, "We must go in there. We must. It's beyond our control." So we open up the door, and there is the bachelor party. And it's like it's like Sodom and Gomorrah on the 23rd floor of Mirage. It's completely out of fucking control. Now, just so you know, I wrote about this in my book, the first book, right? And I described that exact scene, which came on the heels of all the other insanity I was doing, right? And the interesting thing was I already bet about 150 pages in the book, and I was talking about crazy shit. I mean, candles up my ass. I was like, no, up the ass, no big deal, right? All this crazy shit. Midget tossing that. All this. And this was a female editor, Danielle Perez Ramirez, and she was awesome. She's like, "Oh my God, this is great." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "This is awesome. People are going to love it." She's like, "Oh my God." Everything. "Oh, great, great, great." I'm like, "Wow." I'm like, so I'm just going to go for it. So when I got to this part with the bachelor party, I'm like, I'll just fucking go for it, right? So I then write out like 12 pages describing every seedy, disgusting detail down to its most minute elegance, right? Where it's like, I mean, like literally, you can see the cum dripping off people. Is that how much right? Anyway, and I send the pages to Random House, and I get back a comment. "I don't think other human beings will understand." And so I know a few will understand.
Oh my God, these guys! You're talking to the two people that book was meant for.
Well, let's see.
Can we get the unredacted version?
Anyway,
If they find this disgusting, you got a serious problem.
you will.
You got a real problem on your
No,
hands.
this is so anyway. This is like a space-time continuum tear. It like teared space-time.
The fabric of time and space.
It did. Like there was music, it just stopped. There was like people froze. It was like like fucking X-Men shit. Like it was like frozen in place, right? So anyway, this guy and I, we walk in together, right? And there it is. The first thing we see is the bathroom door opens. A little hooker, blue chip, walks like 19, 20 years old. She's limping out, crying, and this guy follows her out. This guy, his nickname was the biggest dick on Wall Street. A 12-inch cock the size of a Campbell soup can, right? She's crying. So everyone gives her $500 for her. She's like, "Thank you." And she limps away, right? Okay, he's like, "I had to do it. It must happen," right? Then it's like a dog poised on all fours with fucking getting blowjob, nitrous oxide.
Sorry. Can you say what you just said one more time?
Dude,
just the way you said it.
Dude, this is just, by the way, this is nothing. That's Rookiesville here, okay? Anyway, there's cocaine out on plates, dishes of Quaaludes. Everyone's fucking out in the open. Like, it's just complete fucking mayhem. Like an orgy out in the open, right? Like, nitrous oxide. Everyone's fucking doing whippets on the fucking tank. It's just complete fucking insanity. And behind us is the glass, view of Vegas. Just a scene like you couldn't imagine, right? Like out of the movies, right? So anyway, and by the way, here's the sick part. I didn't think it was weird. I'm like,
You just walked in. You were like, normal night in
day at
Vegas.
work, right?
Yeah, normal night in Vegas.
Right? So then this guy, Wigwam was his nickname, right? Called him in the movie. He was rug rapping, as we called him Wigwam, because he had the worst toupee this side of the Iron Curtain, right? It's like a fucking dead squirrel on his head. So Wigwam was fucking coked out of his mind, right? He's like, he comes and goes, yeah. I'm like, what? Ellie, my friend understood Lude's, I should say name, understood Lude speak, right? He goes, he said, check this out. He's like, ugh. He brings us to the back. We walk through a series of fucking naked bodies of hookers and insanity. Get to the back, and there at the back of the room, I see the single most disgusting thing ever going on. It's a total, like this, it's like, by the way, thank God this was the before Me Too generation, right? I don't condone this, all you Me Too, but I swear to God.
Thank you for that. The review team will love that.
Yeah.
That'll take care of everything you just said.
Anyway, okay. So, okay, make a long story short, or make a short story long, right? There's a girl on a stool, a pink sheet hooker, truly with the face of a sheepdog, missing teeth, the whole fucking thing. And there's like 20, it's just really bad. There's like 20 guys lined up, to bang her, and they're all banging her without condoms. All right? So they're lined up, one guy's banging her, and of course you have to look to see. Why not, right? So you're like, oh, what the hell's that? And we look, and you're like, this guy pulls out, as like came, and it's like the grossest, most disgusting pussy in the world. Like, it's like, this is like the ultimate vile pussy. Right? Like 15 people in there, and they're still going on, right? Anyway, boy, my wife's gonna be mad if you're telling the story. I know I'm in deep shit right now.
She's not here, right?
How could you do this? No, she doesn't care for me, no. Anyway, here go my corporate sponsors, right? So, all right.
Yeah, we don't have
But
too many of
I'm
them
going
to
to
lose
start my own
here.
podcast. I'm not telling these stories, right? This is for my young generation, right? Don't do this at home, kids. It's not good.
Don't
all
do
right?
it anywhere,
Yeah, right?
probably.
Okay, anyway.
Never. Yeah.
Anyway, so,
Except Vegas.
It's pretty bad. So,
He's saying it's gonna get worse.
oh, yeah. Anyway, so my friend is sitting next to me, and it's like this just disgusting scene. The music is playing, blasting.
What
Everyone's
music, by the
dead.
way, just so I can
Sly and
imagine?
the Family Stone, Everyday People's fucking blasting in the
Everyday
background. Right,
People.
fucking girls are dancing this way and that way, boobs are fucking out swinging. My friend takes a look, and it's just like this just disgusting, rancid, pussy out, and it's like dripping with stuff, and the girl's like with a cowboy hat on. She's saying, yeah, she was getting money for it, right? And he reaches over to the side, sees a Dom Perignon bottle. He goes, all right? Waits, and he goes, go, and drinks it out in front of 150 people. He bent down and drunk it out. At that point in time, okay, literally everything in the room stopped. It's like it was like someone pressed a pause button, all right? And it seriously like tore the fabric of space. And then after he did a gargle and a formal bow, and everyone clapped and cheered, right? And just so you know, and this is a message to everyone real seriously. Like obviously this is 30 something years ago, right? But you don't get there. You get there like one little step at a time.
Yes.
Like we didn't think it was that. Yeah, it was nutty, but it was like, here's what happened. We were in this situation where everyone was young, everyone was making massive money. It was about how low can you go? What was the next low? Because like if something happened, right, then okay, well, fair enough. What can you do worse? Like what can you do? It's more extreme. After a while, you're basically running out of things to do, so you're inventing insanity. So it's just like there's like these insane acts because you had to outdo the one before. So
It's almost like you start edging on this like pagan, ritualistic, like
it's like Rome. It's like honestly more. It's okay. So it's more like when you're running an organization that large, it becomes its own self-contained society. It does. There's births, deaths, marriages, affairs, there's love, there's hate, there's every emotion, every relationship going on within this organization, right? Thousands of young kids all making millions of bucks, right? So, hello,
Mom.
Who called?
Mom, who was it?
All making a ton of money, right? So, what happens is it's like almost like it was like Rome, and this was like the Colosseum. The mob needed to be entertained. The mob needed a spectacle, right? And my partner Danny was Donnie in the movie he was like the Knights. He was head of the Knights Templar. They go around and search for acts of depravity to just bring into the. It was really nuts. So that was really how it started, and it sort of did. By the way, that was not the end. That was very early on. Things got much worse after that. That was just a point. So I saw that. And I was like, I was so revolted. It really was, right? And I left. I said, I gotta go. And I left the party, right?
It's too much for you.
It was too much. It was disgusting. Right? The whole thing was disgusting, right? All right. And I went downstairs and I said, took 5 Xanax, or maybe 10 Xanax right back then, and passed out. Wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and my friend who had done that, right? He's shaking my shoulders. He's like, we gotta get out. It's too depraved. I'm like, you're telling me it's too fucking depraved. We gotta go. This place is evil, right? So all right, when I take a shower, I go to the safe to get my $1.2 million. Fucking safe's empty. I'm like, where's my? He goes, I took a bit of I lost $3 million that night, and then lost like 30 million more over the. So it got really bad. So listen, you can look at this stuff and laugh, right? But I say this. You look at my life, there's things you want to model, right? A lot of good stuff I did, right? But this falls into a very different category of drug-induced insanity. Listen, I'm not the first guy to have a wild bachelor party, right? It's just that it was sort of like everything had to be over extreme. Like, to feel, what happens, you become desensitized against normal emotion, right?
Of course, as soon as you start down that road.
Right? So the only, when I give speeches, I teach sales, I do corporate stuff, right? I would say the only way to avoid is not to take the first step. Because if you take the first, it's like you cannot be half pregnant when it comes to ethics, and you just can't be.
Unless, like you said earlier, you're one of the privileged. We're not, I wasn't privileged either. I wasn't one of the people that could say, hey, I'm gonna do some depraved shit tonight, but tomorrow I'm gonna turn that shit off. Once I started sliding down that slope, it was over, dude.
There's different, obviously, people in the crowd. Some are leaders, some are followers. At another level, it's like what happens when you see like a Brazilian soccer match. 100,000 people, everything's fine, they're nice people. One too many drops of alcohol, the wrong team loses, and fucking next year they're tearing down the lamppost. And everyone individually is okay, but they're gang and a mob mentality. It's insane. So that was probably one of the grossest things I'd ever seen. And in the book, in the book, it just says I go up to the door, I look in the bachelor party, and I was so grossed out, I left.
That's what you
but
got.
I never said what actually happened. That's what happened. It was really bad.
By the way, I'm not too bad with the Dom P if you were the first guy. What grossed me out was he was 20 dudes later.
No, dude, he drank after 20 guys.
That's
horrifying. And by the way,
did he have to? He had to have gotten that checked out, huh? And was he cleared?
Kidding me?
No, dude, I'm pretty sure they remember when I talked about Pokemon catch 'em all? Nobody gave a fuck at that point.
I would honestly, I never. That wasn't our thing. But
they reversed back to clean, bro. They called.
I think I was so. I did so many things back then. Like I think that germs were scared to land on me. I was not a hospitable environment. They need a willing host to bacteria. So like I never used any
You were the
protection.
parasite.
Exactly.
You were given the STDs.
I never caught anything. They just go, fuck that. It's like the movie. What's that? World War Z with the zombies. They don't fucking want to bite certain people. It's like that guy, right? Yeah. That's power.
Wow.
Hey, so you don't try that at home, though, guys.
No, I don't not try it anyway.
No, I'm fucking scared about it because you guys try a lot of shit here. So
I actually get what you're saying about trying to get more and more extreme and what's the newest low you could, because we sort of fell into that trap too. It's like, how can we go fucking harder? How can we go harder? And that led to my downfall. Exactly. The craziest shit ever.
So you got your son here, and he's like telling you to tell the story. Does he get into this kind of stuff? Like what? Like how do you raise the kid? Did you just freak him out?
Because my son knows I live the most ethical life right now. I'm married to his mom. He's my stepson. He's my real son. I mean, I raised him. I love him to death as much as my own kids, right? And he knows that my life is like the exact opposite these days. Like, I live a life with one woman who I love and adore, and I'm very lucky that I got lucky to have an amazing partner. When you meet the right woman or the right partner in your life, it just changes everything. So I got thanks. So I got very lucky with that, right? So a great partner. And also, just everything I do right now is based on giving massive value to people, helping people, so I can look back now with perspective and laugh. Someone asked me a question. I'm not embarrassed about one thing I did. You know why? Because that was I made mistakes.
And it's what made you what you are
all
today.
Make mistakes. And you know what? Everyone saw the movie. It's no secret. They're like, oh my God, you did that. You didn't see the fucking movie? I mean, it's not like it's a secret, right? But I would do it today. I mean, God, I'm like the most ethical person today. And I love my life so much more. But like I said, what makes sense when you're 25 doesn't make a lot of sense when you're 50.
But do you ever feel any like sort of expectation to try to like live up and be crazier than your dad? Or... Really?
No pink sheet hookers though, right? The one thing I want to say to really quick too is he luckily also understands what the flip side looks like.
Exactly.
And so that's the important part of the story. When you tell all this shit, and by the way you tell it, you've got a lot of downside in there. You're horrified by the depravity of all of it and all the downside, but it ultimately led to a jail cell. It ultimately led to a horrific place in life.
It's interesting though how a lot of people that watch the movie, like I know friends back home that watched it and they're like, I want to live like that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that's
Which isn't the movie's fault. That's like they were already doing that.
No. Okay, but just so you understand though. Okay, when someone says that, that's not what they really mean, okay? No one wants to do that and go to jail and hurt people and have people lose money. That's not what people want. It's a suspension of disbelief. You see the movie, and it's like, listen, one thing about gambling, which is a lot better than drugs, is that you get the sort of same crazy high without being on drugs, right? So it's sort of like the downside's not unless you become a gambling addict. But the point is that you can watch a movie, get a certain feeling, right? But to actually live it and with all the downside, I don't think people really mean it. They love to have the glamour. Because here's the thing, it was glamorous. And the mistake that some people make is they want to say, you're glamorizing. No, it was fucking, I wasn't glamorizing. It was glamorous. It was fucked up and glamorous, okay? So, and the brilliance of Scorsese is he didn't make a moral judgment. One thing I hate, when I go to a movie or a TV, if they tell me how I should feel, they telegraph, and it's a morality tale, I don't want to fucking watch. Let me see it, and let me make my own decisions based on my own map of the world, right? So some people will look at it and say, I want to be like that, but if you really press them and ask them a few questions, they say, well, no, I don't mean like I want to, people to lose money. I want to, have overdoses in my life. But I want the fast cars. I want to make money. I want to build a business. I want to be revered by my friends. I want to go to what they want that. They want the good stuff without the bad. And here's the beauty: you can have that. In other words, if I could have whispered in my young ear, I could have had everything without the extreme downside. So there's no reason you can't. Like, listen, right now I have this unbelievable life. I do really well. I have a great business, and I have all this stuff with no downside. But I had to learn the lesson. So the idea for someone that's young, watching us, is you can have it. You can have it all. You can build an amazing business. You can go wild. You can even do drugs, by the way, responsibly if that's who you are.
But talk about how difficult that's for most people. Especially with a drug as addictive as cocaine or anything.
It just depends. I've seen it all. I've seen both ways. All right. I say most people don't end up falling into the trap. Probably maybe 20 or 30% do. That's a lot though, because when they do, it's a fucking disaster. Right? We all have someone in our family that had that problem, right? But the point is that you can take the things I did that were really awesome and don't model the insane parts and really live an amazing life. That's the message of the movie.
Do you think Scorsese did a good? He didn't glamorize it. He showed that side, but do you think he did a good enough job showing the actual downside, the wake ups, the what that's like to wake up covered? I'm sure you've woken up covered in shit and piss and with hookers that you couldn't get out of.
I was really lucky that I had bodyguards following me around.
But talk a little bit about that disgusting life that it leads to, like the feeling of waking up so despaired and so fucking.
Well, that's just drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, in other words, it wasn't so much that. Listen, I had so much money that I was insulated from a lot of the grit and grime that most people would fall into. I never had that because I was followed around by handlers who picked me up out of every rose bush I fell asleep in. They'd pick me up out of the soup when I drowned in a bowl of soup. They'd pick my head up and fucking clean my face. So I had a lot of enablers. My ex-wife was the best enabler of all. She used to make a bread pillow for me. So, like, as my head was bobbing during dinner, she'd go, "Go get some bread, please." She'd make a nice little pillow bread, and someone would fucking crack my head open, right? So, she's a great enabler, too. So, but the point is that the downside is the emotional despair
Hell yeah.
I mean, I tried to commit suicide. I literally took an overdose. I was done. I was like, you just get to a point you're so done. And the beauty is, and there's always a light at the end of the tunnel here, which is not an oncoming train, is that, when you're done with drugs, it's actually really easy to get sober. The problem is all the pain and suffering you have to go through before you're done.
Get there.
Yeah, when change happens, it happens in a heartbeat. Instant. You can change like that, but the problem for most people is you got to go through a lot of pain and suffering before you really feel the impetus to change. So
and other people that are around you need to go through a lot of pain.
No
and
doubt,
suffering.
of course, yeah. Exactly, yeah. But anyway, listen, you look again, like the key is you got to look at it for what it is. It's an awesome fucking movie. It's the business side, the sales stuff. That stuff lives on all over the world. I get calls every day. You hundreds of people that their lives are just going, parabolic because they learn how to close and sell, and that's the great stuff, the entrepreneurship and the sales, right?
Yeah.
The other stuff, the unethical stuff, yeah, that was a mistake for sure. But at least I use it as listen. You are where you are in life, right? So there's two things you can do. You can either wallow in, oh my God, I made all these mistakes, or you can learn and grow from them. You're not the mistakes of your past. You're just not. You're the resources of your past.
So is that what you're doing now when you describe the ethical side? You're teaching people the benefits of sales and those tips, or what is that ethical lifestyle that you're now living?
What are you doing nowadays?
Well, I'm just living like a basically normal human being in the sense that, I'm not out there playing like a rock star.
You still got cash though. You still got money.
Well, I'm not suffering, right?
Look, I looked up your net worth. And I'm not sure. I always do this with our guests with money, but I'm not sure I understand because it said you had to.
I'm working
You had
on
a
doing it, but I owe him money.
Is that what this negative sign is?
You believe what you read online, pal. And I want to go into your things, so read some stuff about you. There's such nonsense online. So
Well, I mean, I've never seen the minus sign
What?
in front of Is your net worth negative $100 million?
Believe what you read online, then I don't know.
It's always wrong.
By the way, then I have a bridge to sell you, by the way. So, anyway.
No, I mean, I'm gonna look up mine right now, actually.
All caps, yeah, but not below.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! I'm balding on Google. Fuck! Ow! Damn!
Wait, can you look up Jake's?
Jake Paul net worth.
Hey, you guys actually believe this?
No, of course not. Of course not.
19 million too?
Wait, what?
Just so
What's
happens.
good?
There you go.
Yo, Pam reached out to Google. She's like, "Can you make both my sons equal so they don't fight?"
Hey, so how did the movie get made? You wrote a book while you were in jail, yeah? And then after, or
No, I taught myself to write while I was in jail.
Okay.
And then I wrote the book when I got out of jail.
okay?
Where were you in jail?
I was in two jails. I went to-
Federal, right?
Federal. I went to Taft,
Yep.
which was actually in Southern California. And then I went up to Oregon for about 10 months. I went through some drug program. You get time off, right?
Yep.
And it wasn't bad. It was let's say it was club fed, but it wasn't a terrible place to be.
Club Fed, that's a Goodfellas line, right? Was it Goodfellas where they got, remember they were all in the cell together
Yeah,
eating
but
bacon?
no, that
and
was
shit?
state. That was state, but we had everyone was on the table.
Yeah.
Was it as glamorous as it was in the movie? Like, were you playing tennis in like white outfits and stuff?
Yeah, it was tennis there, and it was. Listen, here's the thing, guys. Yeah, no violence, tennis courts. I had people working for me, a cook, all this sort of stuff right there.
Sounds
You're a
great.
guy, a butler.
Sounds better than real life.
But jail's fucking jail. You're in jail. You can't see your children. You can't leave. You have no privacy. Your life's being. It sucks. Jail sucks, right? So, I decided to turn, lemons into lemonade, and I figured I'd teach myself a skill, which was to write. I wanted to, when I went into jail, my bunkmate turned out was Tommy Chong from Cheech and Chong. That was just
No way.
wow. What? Yeah.
Wow. Wait, sorry.
was
He
he
was
in?
your what? He was your what? Your bunkmate?
We shared a bunk.
Was Tommy Chong?
Yes. So they put us together because we were both
crazy.
we were both like well-known public figures.
how did you-
So they put us
okay.
together, right? So we shared a cell together, and there's not much to do in jail but tell stories, right? So I'm telling Tommy these stories, and he's rolling on the floor, right?
This sounds incredible.
And after a few days, he says, "Dude, I thought you were making this shit up, but my wife Googled you. It's all true." He goes, "It's crazy. You got to write a book." I'm like, really? Because and that's the insanity. I didn't think my life was even exciting.
Wow.
Because it was so like
Normal
whatever,
to you.
it's my life, right?
Did Tommy have any good stories?
Yeah, he did, but he was like, believe it or not, Tommy's a really intelligent,
Oh, hell yeah.
reserved. He's actually he's a very impressive guy, but I thought he was a brilliant guy. Funny stories, about he was doing his rock bands back in the day, but he was just I couldn't believe that my life actually happened.
How did he get in there?
Weed, right?
So ridiculous. He was selling bongs on, not even weed, bombs on the internet.
Paraphernalia.
And it was his son's company, and he took the fall for his kid, but it wasn't even for pot, it was for bombs. It's insane.
How long did he get?
A year and a day, and he did 10 months. And so yes, he was my bunkmate, and he said, you got to write this book. So I was like, all right.
He did 10. So what do you do? 80% on FET time?
Yeah, but yeah, you do like a year and a day.
What'd you do?
You have to do it a year and a day to get your 85%. You get good 15% off for good time.
And that's violent and non-violent for federal. time.
Anyone,
So,
yeah.
How many years were you in jail?
Like 22 months. 22 months. So what happened was I started writing this book, tried to write, and I didn't know how to write, so my writing sucked. And after about a month, I showed Tom in my page. He'd be like, well, that really sucks. I said, thanks, Tommy. Tell me what you really think.
That's what he said.
So I was having a lot of problems writing. And then what happened was, after about a month of failing at it, I went into the prison library and just picked up a book by chance called Bonfire of the Vanities, written by Tom Wolfe. As soon as I started reading this book, I'm like, fuck, that's how I want to write. And I read this book cover to cover in a day, 700 pages. Right? Next day, take out a yellow highlighter and I start underlining, highlighting shit. And I started cracking Tom Wolfe's strategy for writing. Like I was figuring out how he writes. I was saying how he brings in character, he describes how he creates conflict, and I modeled Tom Wolfe. And then after that, I read Hunter S. Thompson, modeled him.
Yeah, Fear and Loathing.
And then when I wrote my book, New York Times in their actual review, they said he sounds like his mentor is Tom Wolfe. I was like, bingo. So
That's incredible.
Yeah. So I learned to write in jail. Then I ripped up the pages. I didn't think they were good enough. When I got out of jail, I was gonna say, what should I build another business? And let me try to write a few pages. So I started writing. I wrote like 10 pages. I casually knew a book agent. So I sent him, I said, hey, I wrote this stuff. And he goes, so I sent him the pages. He goes, did you pay Tom Wolfe? He put Tom Wolfe wrote them.
Wow.
That's how close they were, so dead on the Tom Wolfe's voice, right? So he goes, that's really weird. He's got an incredible voice. Write 10 more. So I wrote 10 more. It took me like about a week back in there. I was a very slow writer. Still am, right? And I sent him the pages. He goes, stop everything you're doing. He goes, you have no idea what's going to happen to your life. I was like, what? He goes, just trust me. You have no idea. This is going to be a movie. DiCaprio's going to play you. This was in 2006. He said it.
Incredible.
Wow. Scorsese's going to. He said this. His name's Joel Gottler, right? And then he brought in a woman, this incredible woman, brilliant woman named Alexandra Milchan, legend in the industry. She lives here. Her dad owns New Regions. Is Arnon Milchan, a total legend. He's a fucking Arnon's the fucking real deal. Okay, former Israeli arms dealer who sold South Africa the bomb, the atomic bomb. No, he's a real heavy heart. And then he's an amazing guy. He's like the best, this guy, right? He owns one of the largest studios. He's made hit movie after hit movie, right? Famous guy. His daughter is just a chip off the old block. My agent knew her. He sent her like the first 30 pages. She's like, holy shit. And then we met. Turns out her husband was my dorm as me in college, right?
Amazing, yeah, amazing.
Right, anyway, and we started just, as I was writing the book, we were meeting, and as soon as the book was done, she passed it to Leo, and she passed it to Brad Pitt, to Clooney, and to Wahlberg. And a bidding war started. They all wanted to, it was a bidding war, right? And at the time, Wahlberg was not as much of a star. Like now, he's amazing, right?
Yeah.
I always loved him, right? But it really keep my age. He's not as big as Leo and Brad Pitt back then, right? Now he's huge, right? So both sides said, whatever they pay, I'll pay 10% more. So the biddings was going up and up and up, and I couldn't believe it, And I was still fucking broke at the time.
Yep.
I was just getting back on my feet, right?
Yeah.
So I was shocked this was happening, right? And then Leo calls up and goes, Marty Scorsese wants to direct the movie.
Holy
And I was like, shit, well, how do I turn that down?
Yeah.
All right.
Holy shit,
So I went, and I also always loved Leo too, and that was that. So I sold to Marty and Leo. And this is the most interesting part for your viewers, right? For young people, you got to hear this is the greatest story of all, I think. So
Tell that guy right there when you say it.
who's that?
That's the camera that's on your face right now. Tell the young viewers.
I'm gonna tell you this story, guys. Listen, this is a lesson.
But talking to the mic also.
This is a lesson in self-empowerment.
Now do a handstand. What the
Do a
fuck?
handstand.
Just let him fucking live, Mike.
Here's the
Come
deal.
here.
Throughout your lives, guys, you get a lot of shit's just not going to go the way you want, right? And you get really close to success, and it'll be snatched away from you. And a lot of people at that time, that's when they start telling themselves a bullshit story while they can't get what they want in life, and they give up, right? So what happened was Warner Brothers bought the rights for Leo. A guy named Terry Winter, famous writer, he pens the script. Usually takes 5-6 drafts. The first draft's unfucking believable, like dead on balls, very close to the movie that was released, right? Warner Brothers greenlights the movie. It's 2007 now, all right? They just need to do a couple of polishes, writer's strike hits. Pens go down. All right, the window passes. All right, and just like that, Leo and Marty go off to do Shutter Island. Remember that movie, Shutter Island? Right?
Incredible movie.
That was it, right? So now I went from having this thinking a movie would come out, like, and I'd be right back up there, right, to nothing. And now I'm just like, fuck, right? Now,
So you didn't get the money by that point. Did they pull out of the deal, or you still got the money?
It's option money. But the point was that you know, it's not what you make on the movie per se. It's the fame and the things that come from that.
Yeah.
If you know how to capitalize that. So anyway, so I was devastated. I was blown away, right? And then the GFC, the global financial crisis, hit. So I was saying I'll be a writer. You couldn't make money as a writer. No one was writing checks after Lehman Brothers went bust, right? So I was just saying, just to met Bowen's mom. Bowen was 10, all right? And we're struggling badly. I was just so, and now just so you understand, the movie that you saw was very different in the draft in 2008. In other words, so what happens is, what am I going to do? I'm like, I have no money. GFC, I said, fuck it. I'm going to become a speaker and I'm going to train sales. I was always the best sales trainer in the world. That was my gift, really, superpower, just to take people and make them into world-class closers, right? So I started going out there, get a couple free speeches, and boom, boom, boom. Next thing I know, I have this huge speaking business starts going. I'm training people all over the world. It blows up, making a fortune again, right? Yep. So now it goes to like 2012, all right? And I'm doing really, really well. I'm back living in a mansion on the beach, the whole thing, right? And Leo calls me. Guess what? We're ready to roll. It's coming back around, right? Great. Comes to me and goes, what the fuck happened to your life in 4 years? You were broke when I met you. You're rich. How the hell that happened? All right? I said, well, I tell you what happened. Here's what I do. I teach this system called the straight line. I show them the videos. I train